our trek must go on forever.
Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Turbo, and welcome to my Long Beach Comic Con 2017 report, video, and haul. So I'm going to talk about some of the cool stuff I got at Long Beach Comic Con, and I had my GoPro there. I was filming some cool stuff there. You know, when I was there, I thought I was going to film more of the times when I was interacting with the artists and stuff like that, but I didn't actually, which was strange. When I'm like, buying stuff or asking for drawings, I just kind of get into the interaction. I forget to film them. But I did get a lot of film of random people kind of walking around in costumes, a lot of cosplayers and stuff like that. So I'm going to tack that to the end of this video. And I did get some video of some of the people I met with, especially one was really fun. And so that's going to be kind of intercut in here. So I hope you guys enjoy this, something a little different. Anyway, so I went to the Long Beach Comic Con back in September. This was about 2 weeks ago with my good friend E-Dub and his daughter Sasha, trying to get her into the nerd culture early. And she's fun. She's always having a good time. And we actually did a Harry Potter box unboxing that we got there and we opened there. And I posted that also just today on the YouTube channel. So you can check that out and enjoy it, and some of that stuff's here. So I'm going to talk about some of the stuff I got there, but first I want to talk about something I brought with me to have signed. Now there's an artist I really like. He's a colorist and a writer, and he's a good artist too. He draws. Just a good artist all around, comic book creator, David Bowie, and he works for Valiant Entertainment. He produced this print you see back here from Divinity, and he was the colorist on Divinity. I don't think he wrote it. I'll double check. We can double check here. I have a copy of it. Anyway, I think he was colorist on that. I don't think he wrote it. But he was also colorist on a comic I love called Bloodshot. So I brought this Bloodshot 3D printed action figure, and I had him sign that. And so that was very cool. He got a big kick out of that. I got a big kick out of that. And Bloodshot action figures aren't actually something that's produced on the market. You can't go out and get them. You can go online and buy custom ones, or you can find 3D printable ones. I found this. I didn't design it. I did print it out. So I'm going to print out one for Mr. David Bowie and send it to him. He gave me his address, and that's going to be a fun time. So now we're going to cut to the video, actually, of him signing that.
Alright, I'm about to sign a Bloodshot 3D printed action figure. Here we go. Honored, absolutely honored.
Awesome.
JDF, you're next.
Oh, I wasn't recording. Do it again.
Okay. I'll redo it. Let me lick it off real quick.
Alright, so that was David Bowie signing the Bloodshot figure. He also signed a comic for me. He has created and he writes and colors a comic called Stained. And it's a fun comic. I've only read the first issue so far, but I got a special edition of it in my nerd block. And it's actually fairly valuable because it's got a rare cover. So after he signed it, I took it over and we're getting it slabbed, which means it's going to be protected and encased in plastic. But anyway, here's a little footage of him, his signature on that bad boy.
That looks beautiful, by the way. That looks beautiful. Very cool. That is a really nice cover.
All right. And actually the guy who was taking the other video, there was two guys taking video of him signing the Bloodshot figure, and the other one was the CEO of Valiant Comics, Dinesh, who I met, and he was a very cool guy. We had a little chat about figures and stuff, and I ended up with his card, so I'm going to reach out to him and keep that connection going. Who knows, networking is cool. You never know where it's going to lead to, even with random people. So anyway, that was a big highlight for me. I've met David Bowie before. He's always very nice, very cool. He's produced some cool sketches for me in the past. And so, yeah, that was a big highlight of Long Beach Comic Con. Moving on, there were some other big highlights too. I mean, I could have started with any of these really, but you see this here, Mr. William Shatner. And that's autographed by Mr. Shatner in front of me, and then here we go, bam. Yeah. So I got the special VIP pass, which allowed me a photo op and an autograph with William Shatner. It also got me really great seats at his talk. He gave like an hour-long talk. It was like a panel but mostly he talked. He answered some questions and stuff like that. I think I might throw in a little video of that. I might not.
Wow, was that torturous? While you were thinking he's lost his mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, they must think I've lost my mind.
It's long, you know. Well, it wasn't. The whole thing was an hour. I filmed about 6 minutes of it, but it's, you know, it's just a 6-minute story. Maybe that'll be its own video. Anyway, but that was awesome. Mr. Shatner was very cool. The ticket came with one autograph, and I was the last one in line, so when I asked him to also autograph the photo of him and I, all the organizers were like, no, you only got one ticket. And Shatner is like, is he the last one? There's one guy behind me. They're like, there's one more. He's like, he just signs it and hands it over. So that was very cool. You know, he doesn't care. It took him a second, and it meant a lot to me. So it was very cool meeting him. He was nice. The picture's kind of funny. Little story here. You can see I have my arm kind of around him, but it's hovering. And I came up and I'm like, I'm going to put my arm around you. Is that cool? And he kind of goes, yeah. And then the photographer goes like, ready. And they took the picture then, and that's why he's not smiling. He's kind of got a funny face. He was smiling in everyone else's picture, but I like this better. It's more of a fun story. And but he was very gracious, and it was I don't know if it's a lifelong dream to meet him. He's an actor who helped bring Star Trek to life, and Star Trek has hugely influenced me in my life. So meeting the actor's cool. But now that I'm older, I understand how these things come together. You know, he portrayed the captain. You know, Mr. Roddenberry, the guys who wrote the scripts, the guys who made the TV shows, they really brought it all together. But it would have been neat to meet any of them, is what I'm saying. So it was very cool to meet William Shatner, though. Big highlight of the trip. Okay, and there was another legend there, legendary artist who actually drew The Watchmen. A lot of people consider it the greatest graphic novel ever. It was actually produced in issues and then compiled into a graphic novel, but it's a complete story from beginning to end, and that's why it's considered a graphic novel and why it's ranked amongst the best graphic novels. But Dave Gibbons drew The Watchmen, and he signed my copy here to my friend Turbo, of course. So that's very cool. Dave Gibbons was a very nice guy. He was chatty, you know. I actually sat down with him towards the end of Sunday, you know. Towards the end of the con, people were getting tired, but he was still going, still talking, having a good time. And I actually bought a few of the individual issues. I have Watchmen #1 in my collection. I didn't bring it with me. Since I was traveling to Long Beach, I didn't bring much with me. But I did buy #6 with the Rorschach cover, one of my favorite covers. He's such a great character. And then #2 with the crying Statue of Liberty. And Dave signed those for me. I wanted to get a sketch from Dave, Mr. Gibbons. I kind of ran out of time running around, you know, and I ran out of money. I bought a lot of stuff. So, in particular, one thing, probably my favorite thing that I bought there is this sketch of Bishop by Will Sportasio. Might be Weil Sportasio. I'm not sure how to pronounce it exactly. I should know. But he's the co-creator of Bishop. He was the artist who created Bishop. I think he co-created with the writer. I forget who he created with. But Bishop's a great character, X-Man character from the future, and introduced, you know, when comics were in their prime in the 90s, and when I was in my prime of comic reading. And so I wanted to get the man who created the legend to draw it up, and he did a stellar job. This is just an outstanding sketch. It's you probably can't see it on the video, of course you can't, but the paper has a water stamp, a W, and this has his name on it. This is fantastic. This is amazing. You know, sometimes you ask for a sketch and it comes out beyond your wildest dreams. Now these things, you know, aren't free. The artist's time is valuable, so this was $100. But moving on to the next item, and actually I have a picture with Wilson. I maybe slide that in right here. Move on to the next item I want to talk about, which is a sketch I got by an artist named Scott Koblish, who draws Deadpool. And that's this guy. And you can kind of see the difference. I mean, it was a colored sketch, and it was a head and a chest, which is more effort, so artists usually charge more for that. But this was $100 also. So when you compare that to the Bishop sketch, you know, the Bishop one's fantastic. It just stands out. Well, it was awesome. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about? Okay, let's get some prints, and then we'll do a few other things, then we'll get to the toys, and then we'll get to the footage of the Comic-Con. So, for the prints, I hung out with this guy, Arthur Sudayam, for a while. He's called the Zombie King. I don't know if he calls himself the Zombie King or what, but I bought 4 prints from him. It was buy 3, get 1 free. One is this awesome... I'll get a better shot. But it's an awesome print with the Batman and Predator facing off. There's bats in the background. But I also got these. This is an awesome painting of Daryl from The Walking Dead. And now Sudayam, he's the Zombie King, so he does zombie stuff. And he did the covers for the Marvel Zombies series back, I think in the late 90s, might have been early 2000s. So when Walking Dead was huge, they got Robert Kirkman. I mean, Walking Dead's still big. They got Robert Kirkman to write some zombie stories for Marvel, where all the Marvel characters become zombies. And this guy did the covers for him, and this was the cover from one of them. This one's awesome. It's a knockoff from a classic cover. I think it was the Hulk 341, where you have Wolverine with the Hulk reflecting in his claws. And these are the zombie versions. I also, just because I had to, I love this stuff, got the zombie versions of Jay and Silent Bob. Jay, of course, is taking a leak against the wall. Silent Bob's chatting him up. I also ran into a local Denver artist when I was out there. I actually played HeroClix with him. I went to an art show or two with him out here. I've kind of become friends with him. Dominique Glover, and I bought this Thor from him. I like to call her Jane Foster. She's the Lady Thor right now. Jane Foster is Thor, and she's an awesome Thor. She's kicking butt. But so he did this great drawing of her, and I bought the print. He signed it, and then also he kind of had an Adam and Eve pairing, and I already had the Adam. It's funny. He's holding an apple, looking dirty at Eve, and Eve's all dirty and happy and eating her apple. Yep. So the Thor's awesome. I have a Batman print of his hanging on the wall. So he does good stuff. I'm a fan of his art. And actually, let's put a little footage of him in here. Okay, moving on, now they have, cons have artist alleys, they have crafts areas, and now they have a bigger dedicated place for cosplayers, and there's some professional cosplayers. And so I hung out with some of them. I went to talk to them about 3D printing and prop making and stuff like that, and they're usually attractive ladies, and they're always fun to hang out with. So this was, yes, Alkali Lake, and she was dressed in this at the con as Cheetah. And she makes most of her costumes, although this one she commissioned for her. She didn't know how to do that, which is cool, but I would have figured it out, right? It's cool to make you that these cosplayers. It's interesting that they're kind of professionals and they're charging money for their services now, but they do put a lot of effort into this stuff, and they really pull it off pretty well. So let's put a little footage of Alkali Lake in here. I like that. Here, I'll do it. And then we're going to cut over to Nuka-Girl. Only Alley Cat is the name of this cosplayer, and she has this outstanding Nuka-Girl cosplay, and that's what she was dressed as at the convention. They also had other pictures for sale, but it's always fun, I think, to get the one that they're wearing there. And she had a nice inscription, and we'll let her read.
I'm really connected with you, so I wanted to
Cool.
remember that.
All right.
To Turbo, may your ideas continue to take you to the stars. Because we're both astronauts. In a
That's
way.
right.
We're both related to space.
You're a Nuka knot. Alright, for this next print, we're back into Dave Gibbons land, and it is a Whoop Stout print. Whoop Stout is actually a really heavy beer. I think it's 14% alcohol or something. It's kind of hard to drink. It's got intense flavors, but one of those intense flavors is a very strong booziness. But it was made by Stone Brewing in collaboration with Will Wheaton, who's a nerd extraordinaire. You know, he was Wesley Crusher in Star Trek Next Generation. Aisha Tyler, who's a really funny comedian. I watched him for stand-up. And then Drew Curtis, who I was going to look up before this and I didn't. I'm not really sure who that is. I should probably know. Anyway, and then they commissioned a couple different prints, and Dave did one, and he signed this up for me. This is limited edition also. Out of 300, this is 246. So way to go, Whoop Stout print. And the last print I want to talk about, second last print. I mentioned this one a little bit before. This was David Barron print. This is actually an oversized print. It didn't fit into anything normal. I had to get a special case for it and carry it out of the airplane with me in my hand. But it's a very, very great textured material. It's a nice print, and it's from France. It's limited edition out of only 200. And I like that. They actually gave that to me kind of as an appreciation thing for being so into his art and bring the 3D model design and everything like that. So that was really fun. One last print I want to talk about is this flash/zoom print by Norm Ratmond. And Norm's a very cool guy. I think he's always at Long Beach Comic Con and Comic Expo. I met him there a couple times. And actually, a guy, my neighbor in Long Beach when I lived down there, who lived across the hall from me, was friends with Norm. And I kind of name dropped him before. But this time when I was out there, Julian, this dude, was actually at the booth when I was talking to Norm. And so it was a random encounter with someone I hadn't seen in a couple of years, but kind of tying the whole loop together. So that was a lot of fun. And here's a shot of Norm making his metal sounds. It's pretty sound.
I know everyone's like, well, what the hell?
And this is a special metal print, and it's really nice. Yeah, I'm a fan of that print. Okay, and a few comics actually that I picked up, not a lot. Again, I flew out there. I only had a backpack with me. I was trying to travel light. But I did get an issue of Faith #1 signed by the writer Jody Hauser. She was nice. She was very quiet. A lot of these people are very outgoing, and some of them are not so much. So she was very introverted and quiet, but she was nice. I bought this. It's an indie comic called Anarchy Beyond the Walls, and it's kind of a low-key. Not low-key, is that the right word? Yeah, I guess so. It's like a low-key post-apocalyptic thriller where, it's post-apocalyptic, but it's not necessarily wicked bad. I haven't read it yet, but it looks interesting. The art is, okay. It's a little, I mean, you can see from the cover. It's a little kind of, I don't know, not quite my style. I like the more realistic comic-y drawings and stuff like that, or the more surreal. It's more cartoony, but I'm excited about the story. I also got issue #1 of Matt Hawkins' new comic. Now, Matt Hawkins wasn't there, but this was free, so I picked it up. He's the CEO or COO, I don't remember, of Top Cow Comics, which makes some cool comics. It's an offshoot of Image. I've met him at several other cons, and he's always very cool. He likes to talk. He's very outgoing. He's smart. He writes Think Tank, which I love, and he wrote a comic called Wildfire, which is very cool about GMOs and the dangers of it and stuff. And so he's very current thinking and thinks technically. So I'm excited to read this. I don't know what it's about. It doesn't look current or technical. It looks, looks cool though. And then I picked up the first issue of Divinity Chapter 3. Yeah, so it's written by Matt Kint, not David Barron, but it is colored by David Barron. Oh, look at those colors. And I don't know why I didn't have him sign this. I picked this up in another booth, and it just slipped my mind. Anyway, now we get into some toys. And, okay, so I was going to kind of start with this, but I'm going to start with it for the toys, because this is very cool. You might be looking at it here. My friend Eric, as a birthday gift, gave me his old vintage Skeletor on the Puma. It's still mostly felted. It's got some raw spots. It's played with. But this is awesome. Now, I didn't have a lot of He-Man when I was a kid. I had a lot of G.I. Joes. My friend had a He-Man. So when we went to play He-Man, I'd go to Justin's house, and if we wanted to play G.I. Joe's, we'd go to my house. But this is awesome. I always liked Justin had this, and I was always jealous of this one. It's an awesome figure. So thank you, E-Dub, for Skeletor. I also bought from a craft shop. Oh, just a sec. Rude and Reckless, quirky sculptures, jewelry, and handmade bath creations. They have an Etsy shop, Rude and Reckless. So you can. I got from them a Quantum Cola scented candle. Quantum Cola is a Fallout thing from Fallout 4 Nuka-World. It smells good. And Nuka-Girl bought one of these too. I bought one action figure of the show. I have two up here. The Hela was the last action figure I needed for the Thor Ragnarok series, and that completed the Hulk, Gladiator Hulk, which I really wanted. She came with his last arm that I needed, and so, and I had looked all over Denver for her. I went to 3 Toys R Us, different Targets. I even went to some Walmarts. Couldn't find her anywhere. She was at the con. It's always good to shop around at the Comic Con because different vendors were selling her at different prices, and I could have easily spent $10 more on her. Since she's hard to find, she's going for more than sticker price, even though she's brand new. Ridiculous, but you know how it goes. That's why things are collectible. I got these awesome dice. These are metal dice. They're precision machined to be 100% balanced, and they're pretty awesome. They feel good in your hand. They're, you know, they feel like they're real good. And with dice, it's all about superstition. But if they're perfectly balanced, then obviously they can't be great dice. I mean, they are and they aren't. If you're superstitious about your dice, you find a pair that works better than others. You think it's for you, but they're probably weighted a little differently because it's hard to make dice exactly right. Anyway, I could talk about dice all day, but I'm not gonna. We're gonna move on. Everything else I got here was from the Harry Potter box, except these Lego guys. Every year at the Comic Con, and this is one of Eric and Sasha's favorite things too. Sasha likes getting little Lego guys. They have a Lego figure salesman selling like really cool Lego figures. So here, of course, we got Batman with these plastic wings and Loki, and then we have a Zoom and a General Grievous. Oh, he's cool, and he came with all 4 lightsabers. That's sweet. And he gave me the wrong Zoom. I should have checked before I left. It's my fault as much as anything. And I didn't specify. But he had 2 Zooms there, and this is like the zombie Zoom. But they also had the human Zoom before he became eaten by the Speed Force or whatever. And that was the one I wanted. Oh well. And that's going to pretty much wrap it up for the haul portion of the video. One last thing I want to mention is I did go to a booth. I got lured in by some wily females. You may see them in the video. There's a slave Leia and a female Shredder, and they look awesome. And they do a podcast called Girls Interrupting, which is a weekly comic pop culture trivia podcast done by girls. And it's sponsored by, not sponsored, I think Night of the Living Geeks is the overarching podcast company. They gave me the shades, and they were very cool. I hung out with them. And I got it's in the kitchen, I washed it. But I won a raffle with them and got a free Wonder Woman bottle, a nice metal one. It's a good looking bottle. So that was very cool, and thank you, Night of the Living Geeks, for that. I have to give you a shout out here. And yeah, so keep your eyes peeled for their Leia, and and enjoy the upcoming video. I mean, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool costumes there. It's mostly just costumes, people in costumes. But there's a lot of fun ones. You'll see some weird stuff. There's like Harley Quinn making out with Batman, and I only got one Morty on film, but there were a lot of Mortys there. There were a lot of Harleys there. Yeah, so enjoy the footage and come on back and watch me again sometime. Until then, be excellent to each other.
Action going right now.
All right, it's action. Here we are, man, at Long Beach Comic Con.
Dude, that's badass costume.
Thank you.
You bet.
I wish I could swim like dolphins can swim. Though nothing will keep
I know Aaron's like, oh, what the
Love it.
Let me take a picture.